Good morning. Let's see if I can get the lighting. Good morning. I am Liz. I'm one half of the team at Rising Tide Women, and we are doing our usual Monday Live on a Tuesday because yesterday we were teaching actually a childbirth ed class all day, which inspired our topic for today. And then we were going to do it in the evening, and it was just, we were exhausted. So we decided that since we spend a lot of time counseling other women to rest when they are tired and to take care of themselves, we decided that we were going to do that. So here we are in the morning. So if you don't know us, which some of you might not, I'm going to get my business partner Lindsay on here in just a minute. When she pops up. Hi, Lindsay. And we are a business that supports parents through pregnancy, birth, postpartum, breastfeeding. We do. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi, morning.
Morning. I was just explaining what we do in our business.
Awesome. I'm listening.
All right. So we really support parents from preconception to postpartum and beyond. And our thing is really, we want to build community. We really are into building non-judgmental support systems for families. That's our jam. That's what we do.
That's our jam. And
oh, you have Rosebud. She's my friend. I love her.
Yes, she's great. Anyway.
So that's what we do. And so this month we've been teaching a lot of birth classes, and it's so fun. It's made our schedules a little bit hectic, but we love that. We love our work. We love working with these amazing families. So we wanted to talk a little bit today about what are these birth prep classes like? What are they?
Right.
Why would you want to take one? Because Lindsay, this morning, I have to share with you, this morning I actually Googled, should I take a birth ed class? Just to see, what is out there on the internet. I don't recommend it.
Yes.
Please don't Google that. It's a little eye-opening for me. So... because there are lots and lots of people who say you don't need to. Why bother? So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, why you should bother. But yeah, do you want to talk a little bit, Lindsay, about what is a birth prep class? I think a lot of people don't necessarily know what it is even.
First of all, I think it varies depending on who you're talking to and where they're teaching.
Yes.
I think that makes a difference. So ours are private in home. So you can have it be as a couple, or you can get a group of friends together and we can do that in the comfort of your own home. So what was the question? Why?
What is a birth ed class? So
what is it? Yeah. See, I get so lost in it just thinking about it. It's preparing the expecting couple about realistic expectations.
Yes.
It's about listening to what they want individually out of this experience. And I'm talking about our classes because I can't speak to everybody else. It's about fine-tuning who needs what, and maybe there is a medical condition. Maybe the expecting couple has a health issue that we need to pay particular attention to because it's going to make a difference in the whole entire experience. And when you do a private class with us, we're able to take in all of that information and make a class that is going to actually work for you. So that in a nutshell, yes, we cover the anatomy, the physiology, the comfort techniques. We do hands-on things. We have great visuals. We have a wonderful presentation. We stop for as many breaks as you need. We take questions whenever you need them. But really, in the long run, it's just about listening to what is going to work for you during your
Yeah.
birthing experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like that's kind of in my Googling this morning. I think there's which again I don't recommend. But I think there's a
So
lot of kind of this perception that like a birth class is you go and they're gonna teach you how to breathe and like it's just like this
if you
one
don't
size
know how
fits
to
all thing.
breathe, we got to
You
go way back to the beginning.
yeah, exactly. Like if you don't know how to breathe, we have bigger problems. And I think people are like,
And
what? Like
hold
what?
on,
Yeah,
everybody
people are
knows
like,
what a like.
yeah, like people are like, what even is that? Why do I need to learn how to breathe this funny way? Um, and I think like,
I
yeah,
don't know. People
our
think that that's the
yeah, and it's just sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you, Lindsay. Um,
okay. Sorry, my dog is eating a pillow.
that's all right. I would
No,
not be surprised if you can hear my dog snoring on the video, because that's what he's doing. So I think that like there is
yeah,
this perception and there's like that Saturday Night Live sketch where Maya Rudolph is teaching a birth class, which is one of my favorites. Honestly, I love it. In the moment where they're like, "Is that an iPhone? When was this shot? This was shot like last week, and it looks like it's from like this 1967." But like I think that we have a great sense of humor about that. But I think that there is this perception that like you go to this birth class and it's like some crazy hippie teaching you how to breathe and telling you about the evils of epidurals, and that's like not at all how it is. I'm sure
not
somewhere that exists, but it's not how we do things.
no, no. If you want to
So
learn about something, we're happy to teach you
yeah,
about it so you can make a decision.
yeah. And that's kind of our whole jam is like we want to give you information. We want to answer your questions. We want you to feel prepared. And then like once you know the decision you're making, you get to make the decision because you're like a grown person and it's not our job to tell you what to
Yeah,
do. Like
I know.
amazing.
It's
It's wild. Um,
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so and I can speak. I actually taught birth classes in a hospital for a couple of years, and I loved it. Like I don't want to give a sense that I'm casting aspersions on hospital birth classes because I loved teaching those. It was a great opportunity for me to connect with all my students and to really prep them for what it was going to be like to give birth in that hospital. But that is the key part is that when you take a birth class in a hospital, they are really preparing you to give birth there, and I nobody ever flat out said to me as a hospital birth educator, like, you have to say these things. But there was always this kind of unspoken understanding that, my job was to prep people for being patients in that hospital. Um, and,
Yeah,
I definitely, I knew that there were things that if I said I was going to hear back, from physicians or from hospital staff, and again, no one ever said like, you can't say certain things, you can't teach these things, but it was very focused on, hospital policy. It was like, here's when you come in, this is how they like to do things. And I always took pains to say, you don't have to do
right,
it that way. You decline any of these procedures. You can do what you want, but there was always that understanding of like I kind of had to be like,
right,
here's what's going to happen when you come in to have your baby.
right,
So I think
right.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
there's great preparation. It,
yes. Yeah, and I think, but
um,
I do think that as private educators, we have a lot more freedom to share everything and not just to prepare people to be good patients in the hospital, but also to prepare people to have a healthy, empowering experience and to own their experience.
right. Like you had said before, we're all adults here. We should be able to have mature conversations where everyone is listened to
Yeah,
in the hospital, especially when we're talking about a birthing experience that is completely low risk,
yeah.
healthy, nothing really going on but having a baby, not to undermine that, but
It's a
you're
big
healthy.
deal. Yeah,
It's a pretty big deal, but but you are healthy.
yeah, yeah,
So you should be able to have a conversation and say, I'd like some wiggle room here. I'd like to
yeah,
hold off. And that's what's fun about teaching class.
yeah. And that's one of the things I love about teaching our classes is we really focus on informed consent. That's like such a big cornerstone of our classes is that if someone is going to be touching your body, they need to have consent. And if someone is going to be performing a procedure on you, you need to know what that procedure is. And I always say, like with consent, if you can't say no, then you can't really say yes either, because that's how consent works. And so we need to be
Right.
guiding our providers and telling them that we expect that from them, you know?
Yes.
That's a big thing for us. I'm going to get my finger out, as my friend Twinks always says. But if someone's touching your body, they better have permission.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um,
Um,
yeah.
I was going to say, as a mom of boys, I am big into teaching about consent and, like you can't touch someone else's body unless they say it's okay. So the same goes for our medical staff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Our client,
and
a little bit about how the classes are run, so everybody gets an idea.
yeah.
Like how many hours, like what are they getting?
So typically when we do a class, we plan for 8 hours. And when we do a class, we really organize it around their schedule. We can do 8 hours all in one day, although it's a bit exhausting for everyone involved. We typically do a weekend and we'll do 4 hours Saturday and 4 hours Sunday. That seems to work for a lot of people, but we could do 4 2-hour sessions. We really Hi, sorry.
Hi.
It just I got the spinning wheel. Um, so I don't know how much y'all heard, but basically, we work around our client's schedule. Um, and we really tailor our class. We have our presentation that we don't really change the actual presentation a lot, but we change a lot what we talk about. So sometimes we have clients who know they want to get an epidural, and so we're going to organize our birth class around that. We are going to talk about benefits and risks with them. We want to make sure they know what choice they're making, but we're not going to sway them, like they get to decide. Our whole thing is we just want you to know what you're getting into, and then we support you. So sometimes our clients know they want to get an epidural and we talk about it. We create our class around that plan. Sometimes our clients know they need to have a cesarean birth for some reason. And so we're going to talk about what to expect with that, how to support that process and make it as healthy and empowering of an experience as possible. You know, sometimes we have certain health conditions, like sometimes, you know, I don't know. I can't, I don't want to share personal details, but sometimes there's like a specific concern that a parent has, and we try to tailor to what they need. And if we know ahead of the class, we actually go, Lindsay and I will go and do research so that we know what we're talking about when we're doing the class. We don't want to just be like, ooh, I'm not sure. But the flip side of that is that we don't have all the answers. And that's not, of course we don't have all the answers. So if we don't know, we're going to encourage you to talk to someone who does know, probably your care provider. But also we're going to do some research, and we might say like, hey, I don't really know the answer to that, but let me send you some links later on, and I'm going to find some information for you. So it's how we roll, and we have a good time. Yeah.
And another big part of the class is that we discuss the immediate postpartum period, the first 3 months basically, and also breastfeeding. So our class goes beyond birth, because really that's when things begin. You can get through 24 or hopefully less hours of labor, and where people are really stunned or amazed is the postpartum time. And our focus, there's a major focus on that in our class.
Yeah. And I think it's so important, because I think, and we talked about this during our class yesterday, but I think that we culturally have this view that like, oh, you have the baby and then happily ever after, we focus on that one big event and not on the growth process that happens afterward, when really like you have your baby and that's when the work begins, because now you have to raise a tiny human and it's a lot of work. And I think that parents aren't really sold an accurate vision of what that is going to be like, so we really try to be real in a non-frightening way, but we want people to have healthy expectations for what's coming at them with sleeplessness and trying to care for yourself. Yes, Caitlin, postpartum totally rocks so many people's worlds. And breastfeeding.
Even if you are so prepared and you have so much support and you have people in and out of your house, or you have exactly what you need, it's gonna rock your world no matter what. I don't mean to doubt anyone, but in one way or another, it's gonna rock your world. Like,
yeah,
you gotta be ready for it.
Yeah, and I always tell people like and this is actually, I got this from Glennon Doyle, who I am a big fan of, but it's not hard because you're doing it wrong. It's hard because it's hard and it's worth doing well, So, and as a lactation professional, one of the things that we hear over and over again, and Lindsay, I know you hear this too, is people say like, I didn't know breastfeeding was going to be this much work. Even when it's going beautifully, people say, I didn't know it was going to be this much work.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, we really, we found that people are not taking the prenatal breastfeeding classes. It's a thing that we offer, but people just don't think it's important. And so rather than try and sell another class to people, we actually just we condensed it as, and we just put it into our birth prep class because people need it. The majority of our clients do intend to breastfeed. So we want to prep them for that. And if somebody doesn't want to breastfeed, if that's, and that's their choice. Again, you are a grown person and we support you. If someone has chosen not to breastfeed, they still are going to need some education about how to manage that, because your body doesn't know that you're not going to breastfeed. So your milk is still going to come in and you need a little bit of help around what to do and how to either suppress that or donate it, or you have so many options, but it's helpful to know how to manage it.
Yes, absolutely. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the class, talking about postpartum and the
Yeah.
breastfeed. It
Yeah, mine too.
it just and we're not talking about, talking about gear and what to buy and all of that. I mean, we can give you some help there, but we're not baby gear experts, and we're going to tell you probably what you really need in the
Yeah.
postpartum time. and
Which is a plan to feed
in
yourself.
this, and in this day and age, there's so much stuff. And with my first, I was so swayed by like all the things,
Yeah.
which I then realized that I didn't need a
Oh, I
lot of
know.
them.
We lived in this teeny tiny apartment when I was first pregnant, and I just could not believe how much stuff. And our friends and family, they were so generous and so lovely at our
Oh
baby shower.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but like most of that stuff we never ended up using, because it was
yeah.
just
Oh
like
no, this was not
didn't
my
have room for
answer.
it.
Like I wanted this. Yeah, I
Yeah.
needed this stuff. Like I wouldn't be able to be a parent without some of this stuff.
Yeah. And it's going to vary for
So
everyone. And again, like if that stuff supports you, great. But if it's in your way and you don't need
yeah.
it, that's less great. So,
So our classes are super fun, relaxed. We break for food. We break for
yes.
the bathroom, water, whenever you need, questions. And again, they're personalized. These class and they're in the comfort of your own home. We have
Yeah.
found that a lot of partners slash dads mostly are less inclined to want to participate in a bigger group setting where they don't know anyone. And we actually
Yeah.
get some great conversations going with the partners, like because they're finally like they feel safe and free to say, well, can you talk to like what does this look like what are we talking about here? And in our gentle yet straightforward yet sometimes silly way, we can give you the lowdown so that maybe during labor it's not so frightening. And we just have a lot of fun. It's warm, it's inviting, and we're talking about one of the biggest moments of your life.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like I have a background as a teacher. I don't know, a lot of people don't know this, but I went to college to be a teacher. I taught middle school Spanish, before I came into this career. And so for me, the teaching I love it so much. And a lot of what I end up doing postpartum with families, even if it's not in a specific learning space, I end up doing a lot of teaching just because it's you can take the girl out of the classroom, but you can't take the classroom out of the girl. So,
Right.
that's really we love to see families supported and prepared for their experiences and ready to empower themselves. We don't empower you. We support you so that you can empower yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we recognize your power. We know that you are like
Yeah.
you're strong, but also when you aren't feeling powerful and when you are down about things, we're going to be right there with you. This isn't a like, well, now you got to smile and get back
Good
out
luck.
there. It's a matter of being with you during whatever time you're at and supporting you and helping you feel strong and
Yeah.
however you want to feel.
I know. That's so us. Like we're like, what do you want? How can we support you in feeling how you want to feel? Do you want to feel terrible?
Are you
We support you.
sad now?
Like we're
It's okay to be sad.
my 6-year-old who just turned 6, he's now has started saying,
Fun.
what? I'm sorry, I didn't
No, I
catch
was just,
that. Oh, okay. He has started saying, I support you. Um, when his brother's like, I'm going to build Legos, he's like, I support you.
that's super cute.
So he's,
One just to touch on about the classes is don't forget to check in with your insurance company. A lot of times they will give you a hand with birth prep classes. Sometimes they're covered completely. We have
yeah,
the ability to give you whatever paperwork you need to make that happen. Also, when you bundle, say, our birth doula lactation package, you also get a discount off of your education. And what's great about that is when we do your education, number one, we get to see you more often and get to know you better, which is great. But also,
yeah,
if I'm the, usually it's me who's at the births. I already have a really great grasp at what you're looking for, and I know what you've learned, so I'm not trying to figure out what you know about labor and birth and what you don't, and it actually is a really helpful bit in the process.
yeah, absolutely. And it's nice too because I see all our clients as they get towards their guest date or they get towards the birth of their baby. I see all our clients and then I get to see them postpartum as I support them through breastfeeding um, or not breastfeeding. And it's really nice when we do the education because I already know them. I'm not like, hey, let's get to know each other. Um,
Yeah.
Although that's great too. I am here for everybody. So, but yeah, I think it's a lot of people don't know that they can get reimbursed through their insurance company for birth
Yep.
classes. We are both certified instructors through CAPA, and so we can give that documentation, and insurance companies very frequently will cover that. So
Yep.
that's a really good
Absolutely.
point.
Yeah, and
So,
I mean our information, it's on our website. I'll put it in the comments, and it'll be there if you want to take a look at it, or if you know someone who is pregnant, please pass on the information that private birth education with a fun twist exists, and
yeah.
that we would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah. And obviously it's a thing that we do, but we love to see people really get prepped for birth, whether it's with us or not. When we're not, this is not just a big sales pitch. Like we really believe in this for everyone, whether you're close enough to have us do it or whether you're far away. Also, to piggyback off what Lindsay said, share this video with someone you know who is newly pregnant because we have a lot of cool stuff in the works for our pregnant friends, and we have some really exciting things that are going to be coming out in the next few months to help support folks through pregnancy, whether they're close by here on the Cape or in the South Shore or
Yep.
not. So
Right.
I'm like, we
Right.
have an idea that
It's
I am like
awesome.
on
It's
fire
good.
with.
It's I'm burning right there with you. It's awesome. It's awesome.
It's gonna be good.
So, yeah. Thank
Um,
you, everyone.
yes. Thank you. And if you want to work with us, you can find us at risingtidewomen.com. You can find us here on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. All of our handles at Facebook and Instagram are at Rising Tide Women. And just say hi. We also have a really beautiful Facebook group that we run, and it really is like the kindest corner of the internet. The women who are in there are just amazing, and so kind, so
Yes.
supportive. It's a
Very
really
kind,
wonderful space.
very supportive.
Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah, everybody's cool. It's good. So, and we have a good time too. So come hang out with us, whether you're going to hire us or not, be part of our group. Um, we want to be part of your community. So thanks so much. Thank you,
Thank you.
Victoria.
Oh, Victoria, thank you. Thank you, Mom slash Nan.
I know.
And yeah, we'll see
Hi,
you guys.
Christy.
And thank thank you for being patient through all these time changes. Life was just kind of, March has been a little bit of a funky month, and we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we appreciate that, and we plan to be back next Monday at 9.
Yes. All right. Have a beautiful week, friends.
Bye-bye.
Ah.